Hello, everyone. Hello, our community. Today we are trying to do something special for you. We decided to do a little bit of developer talk, or how to say it, a little bit of vidcast together here with Anton, Mark, and Pavel. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
And today's topic gonna be kind of related to one of the recent teasers we did for the community, and the teaser was based only on sounds. And it started quite a lot of speculations. And we decided that for the upcoming communication in terms of our usual articles on the blog, in which we plan to reveal more about this project, we also wanted to do this kind of vidcast in which we will like more comfortably and fluently, or how to say, talk about this project. And that's why we are here today. So here with me, as I already said, is Pavel, Mark, Anton. Guys, can you introduce yourself, say a few words about what is your role here in the company, and a few little words about you?
Hi, sure. I've been working here for years now, more than 4 years. And I initially joined the company as a researcher, and I've recently transferred to the game design department. And now I'm working full-time on that.
On this project?
On this project you've announced, yes.
So it's quite a big project, I guess, if it now consumes all like your role full-time, right?
Well, let me put it this way. It's quite big, yes.
Okay.
It's very comprehensive. There are a lot of things there. And I initially started working there as a researcher, which is interesting and which I think determined a lot of things of how I approach it and how I work with it. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Anton. Mark, I think people know you from our streams and from our STS Under episodes, but for those who don't, can you say a few words about yourself as well?
Absolutely. So I'm a vehicle production coordinator here at SES Software. I started about a year and a half ago in your department, working for marketing as a consultant and community manager. Recently I transferred to vehicles team as a production coordinator, which is kind of a new position for us. And it's kind of meant to be kind of a hybrid position. I'm assisting the producer, I'm assisting the lead. I even work with you and Oscar on some projects. So it's just kind of a more fluid producer, I would say. I think we're all trying to figure out what it is. So yeah, I'm helping a little bit with the road trip stuff as well.
Cool. And Pavel, I think people know you as well but can you also say something?
Okay. I happen to be the CEO of the company. So with my approach, I tend to be kind of everywhere where I'm interested in, and this certainly is something totally novel for us. Yes, a new territory. So I'm very much present in whatever is being developed or decided, and here I am to help the communicate and to manage expectations of what this is going to be or not going to be.
Okay, cool. Let's get back to the teaser. I think you guys already, or all you guys saw that teaser and you've seen the speculations it has started. What do you think about it? Pavel, you can start.
There was a lot of doubt how to approach announcing or teasing something new. And in the end, the sound was totally weird way to announce something. But people quite quickly analyzed what we did. A lot of speculation. So I think it was a good way to introduce something so new. But now it's time to reveal more, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it was really cool, reading through all the comments on, all our social medias and on the blog. And, some people were like, no, there's no way, they're bringing, cars into the game. Some people were insisting, no, it must be like a two-stroke Detroit from an old truck. It's going to be classic trucks or something like this. Like, the speculation was really out there and really cool, but yeah.
I've seen some comments saying that it's definitely going to be another electric truck, which I think in this case was a little bit like misfire.
Yeah.
Anton, did you check the comments as well on the teaser?
Yeah, I did. I actually, me and my other colleague, we've teamed up and we kind of discussed this a lot. And that other colleague of mine, he even went through, I think he checked the comments on every social network we have. And it was really interesting to see the scope of the things that people in the comments suggested. That was interesting, and it was interesting to see in what directions people thoughts are going, and seeing whether they. I would personally hope that the intrigue, the secrecy would be as long as possible, because I'm always, when I first started working on this project, I was like, wow, when we're going to release this or when we're going to announce this is going to be huge. And I was always anticipating the people's reactions to that. So when I saw some comments that were closer to the truth, or maybe even completely true, I was like, yeah, people are guessing. This moment is about,
All right, I think you already dropped the name of the project in one of your answers.
Oh, geez,
here.
yeah.
But I think we can say that the project is gonna be most probably called Road Trip. I can turn this laptop here, and here we already have let's say a logo for it, because still it's not gonna be a completely new game. It's gonna be like a child of American Truck Simulator, right? So that's why it's only like an appendix to the American Truck Simulator logo here. But Road Trip, guys, can you tell us what is it, or what the vision is for this to become, Pavel?
Well, you say I would rather say it's a part of the universe of American Truck Simulator. It's something that's not a new game. It's a concept within the universe of American Truck Simulator of something new. And I could talk for half an hour about how it was conceived, and maybe I should spend a few minutes. When we approach industry partners, or when we talk to somebody kind of on the street who is not aware of our game, and we say, we have American Truck Simulator, and they immediately say, oh, so you have these pickups in there, and can I drive this or that interesting vehicle? And we say, no, it's semi-trucks. It's like logistics, it's long haul, it's all that we explain, and it's a pity. So over the years, we repeatedly got this feedback that if you call it a truck simulator, and this is a game where like most of the player base is Northern America, they have a particular understanding of the word truck. Maybe us Europeans or people in England would again have a different understanding, but us non-native speakers kind of think mostly about semi-trucks, but Americans may not. It's a missed opportunity in a way to have a broader appeal to cover trucks than in general. So that was always kind of there, lingering. What do we do with the kind of properly identifying what the game is just from the title? And as time went on, we said, you know what? We are building this huge world, this huge sandbox where you can drive interesting vehicles. Why don't we look at something else too to add to the mix? Because the community is frequently pushing us to make interesting bits in the world. It's just like not just highways and depots and all those logistic kind of bits. People, request national parks, unique landmarks, narrow roads to somewhere, and we have really a real difficulty to find a reason to take your 40-ton trailer to that location.
To some place you are not even allowed, right, in real world.
Like a Tioga Pass, you shouldn't really go over with a trailer, stuff like that. And it's been with us for ever since the project was conceived. How do we balance between just the kind of like the everyday, not I would say pedestrian, but everyday transportation layer of the game and the cool bits and the cool parts of the world. So again, if we had alternate or additional means to explore it, hey, we cool to just drive there, maybe for fun. So as time went on, we said, you know what, let's do something about it. And that's where the project, which is now whether it's a working title or a final title, the concept of Road Trip was finally somehow formed better and better. That's where Anton is here, because he spent a lot of time figuring out what it may be and what it may not be. But the need to, the crave for additional ways to explore the world has been always there. We see it from people in the modding community driving in the world with different types of vehicles, not just trucks, role-playing something else. So we say, you know what, let's give this idea a chance. Let's try. And basically that's been almost 2 years ago when we started thinking about it. And so a lot of thinking through the years, then more and more actual work towards having the concept shape out. We're still in early stages, but at the same time, we feel confident enough that this is a real thing. This is no longer daydreaming. This is something that will happen. So let's see how much we can tease or reveal today. But the need was there, the opportunity was there, and it's just about now explaining that it's something cool, something that may hopefully be appreciated by people role-playing the truck driver part of the game, where this may be a fun way to spend the weekend in the woods, to put it. But also it may be a way for other people to come to the phenomenon and for us to gain new followers, new fans, because it's all about trucks, not just semi-trucks, ultimately.
Yeah. You, Mark, as a long-time member of the community, and you spent quite a lot of years with our games, and you've seen a lot of mods and multiplayer stuff, and people are actually role playing with like police chases and escort vehicles and stuff like that. And as Pavel mentioned, that the road trip is probably going to be like a new addition to a different type of vehicles into the game. Like, do you think like there is a space for it, there is a hunger for it, there's demand for it, and can you also, from your perspective of a vehicle production coordinator, tell like maybe what type of vehicles can we like expect for this?
Yeah, for sure. To answer the first part of the question, we did use quite a lot of mods to kind of tailor the game the way we want it. I think quite a few people do that. For us, we loved the oversized loads and stuff like this, right? So we had mods to get the special transport DLC into the base game without the escorts, without the kind of restrictions.
Which are also pickup trucks, right? I guess.
No, so specifically the cargos.
Oh, the cargos.
Right. So now the AI traffic, they don't necessarily like behaving around these big oversized loads. So we would hop into cars or pickup trucks, and we would kind of block the AI traffic to get the loads where they need to go and all that, right? So we kind of developed our own gameplay around it, and as well as even like some other stuff like police chases and stuff like that, right? Just having some fun with it for sure. So yeah, I think there's definitely space for it. Even kind of more monotonous role play. Like we used to do this thing where we had this map mod that was a house. So you would park your truck at the garage at the end of the day, switch into the car, and drive the car to the house. And there was another garage, so you could sleep there.
Reality, right?
Exactly, right? So you could kind of role play as this like day cab driver, just going to work every day, going home every night, kind of thing, right? So I think there's lots of possibilities there once you add this kind of stuff into the mix, right? As far as type of vehicles, like Pavel said, like for sure, I think pickup trucks are definitely going to make it into the game. I'm pretty confident in that.
I did a few trips to the US, like. During my time working for SEO Software, most of the time, or recently along with you, and I have to say, like, pickup trucks are definitely the most popular vehicles in America.
Yeah,
like,
actually,
everyone has one.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because like when I came to Europe, and especially to Prague, being like a metropolitan area, there's not a lot of pickup trucks. I think since I've been here, I've seen maybe a dozen, right? In Prague, but you see combis everywhere. True. And combis are the pickup trucks of Europe. You know what I mean? In America, even in the city, you see people driving like F-150s and Ram 1500s, these big crew cab, 6.5-foot bed pickups, which wouldn't even fit on the street here in Prague. And some of them you would even need a B or
underground parking.
Yeah, like you would need a C license for half these vehicles here, right? Like the commercial European commercial license. So like the pickup trucks are huge over there. I think the F-150 was the best-selling pickup truck for like
5 years in a row or something.
Several decades.
Decades.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think even if it was not the most popular, I mean, the other most popular was a Ram, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's always just a different pickup truck.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're like pretty much synonymous with just like driving in America as pickup trucks, right? But with that said, I think we'd be kind of missing an opportunity here, because when you think of road trip, typically you might think of maybe the more Americana Route 66 style of road trip, right? Maybe some kind of like more traditional
like
vehicle.
Classic.
Yeah.
Some kind of
something like
legends.
that. Yeah. So, we didn't want to leave that out. I think everyone was pretty much in agreement in that we kind of had to have something along this lines as well. Yeah.
All right.
Well, and practically when we to make this happen, you have to approach the licensing partners early on. So that's what we did with Oscar for some years. We already been chasing tentative partners who would be interested in taking part of this. And it turned out that, for the companies that we approach, this may be a nice tool for raising awareness, visibility, coolness factor. Gaming now is perceived as a way to be visible. It's like part of the marketing
It's like
mix.
a marketing tool,
So
yeah.
anytime you approach somebody, they think, okay, what about like brand positioning or brand awareness? And what about the latest and greatest showcase for something that they
yeah.
just offer on the market? So the in early concept of let's put trucks into the truck game, let's put more of the trucks into the truck game, has evolved into, okay, what can we actually do when a partner like a major brand is offered the way to be in the game on a passenger vehicle level? What kind of mix of vehicles would make sense? And maybe we could spice up the mix with something, and before you know it, you can approach it from so many perspectives. But this is not a racing game. This is not like a testosterone game. This is still a Zen driving game.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's about like whatever we put into the game. You're not going to be typically driving 150 miles per hour or something.
People will.
It's about like the everyday like experience, exploring, calm road trip kind of setting. So what nothing is like out of the table. We can go to history. We can maybe chase the latest and most interesting or most typical vehicle from the manufacturer's point of view. Often they would have like a top model, but the business, the core of the business is like this like everyday model that people have the best ratio performance versus price. So we'll see. Usually we are thinking about like a few vehicles per brand that will make it into the concept, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah,
Cool.
You mentioned a good point there. Like the American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator 2 both have this kind of very Zen vibe to them. You know what I mean? Very peaceful kind of gameplay experience, and I think that's like a really good point. And I think we're kind of all on the same page here in that like what we're bringing, we're not like going after other titles. We're not trying to do something that we're not already doing. Like we're trying to keep this same gameplay just with the different kind of
that's the
vehicles,
assignment
right?
for Anton, to figure out a reason to drive these cars in the world, right?
Well,
That's a kind of like already hinting a question then for you, Anton. Like, can you maybe reveal us some of your ideas and visions? What the road trip gonna be in terms of like gameplay, or what people will have the opportunity or will be asked to do with those vehicles?
Well, I can talk about that. I'm not sure if I can reveal.
Let's tease some things, right?
Yeah, I liked what you said, Mark, about role playing, and I think that this word is really crucial for us and for how we approach designing this feature, this new project, because we are trying to design systems that would let the players to interact with our map, with what we already have in the game, and that's a lot of content, in ways that would enable them to enlive new interesting agencies. Because what we have here with the big trucks is a perfect way to have a dream job, be a trucker, because that's what we say in the tutorial, right? You now can fulfill your dream and be a trucker. And now we are trying to design systems that would enable the player to do other things. And my personal view is that the most interesting games are those that can be approached from different angles. So the design systems that we are working on are really minimalist, but my personal goal and what I'm hoping we will be able to achieve is to like create a lens, if I can say so, that would just open up what we have from a new perspective. I know that's pretty vague, but if I were to speak in more concrete terms, I would say that we are looking into emphasizing and kind of boosting up the exploration aspect of our game, which is already huge, and we have a lot of things dedicated to that. But we want to better it up even more. And this is interesting because when I worked as a researcher here, during the research, we'd always find a lot of things that are very interesting. Half of those things, or the bigger part of those things, would make it into the game as landmarks, as real landmarks that are interesting because of different reasons.
And somebody spends 3 weeks building that model,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you drive past in 3 seconds.
Do you mean landmarks like a city hall or maybe a specific like mountains such as Devil's Tower in Wyoming, I think
Statues.
it is.
There's so many, there's so many
Yes.
details in our worlds, right?
Yes, and not even the big things, because like in the real world, a landmark is something that is significant because of its history, or because it's a very prominent natural thing. And in our world, a landmark is something that you work on a lot, and that's significant in terms of the map context, right? So, and some of those landmarks are then marked as photo trophies or viewpoints, but some of them just stay there in the map silently, waiting to be recognized by the attentive player.
I like that approach, yeah.
Yes, and a lot of our players are really attentive. I mean, some people, driving through a small American town, we depict the city hall there or the town hall there, and then somebody from that town reaches us and says, "Wow, guys, you did depict that." I mean,
like just recently happened with the Cap Girardeau, whatever. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name of a city in Missouri. But local like newspaper or something like that approached us. We did an interview with them, and then they were super happy. And then another guy who was like visiting or attending the local university there was so happy that our map designers recognized or recreated the campus, even with some 100-old tree that is no longer there because they needed to chop it.
There's a memory
off.
of the tree.
But the tree is there in this DLC, and he was so super happy that all his memories of sitting in the shade of a tree during his studies was like reviewed. And
so again, the understanding is that if you are driving a commercial vehicle through the world with the aim to earn money at the end of the delivery, yes, you notice these things along the road, but it's not naturally your focus. You're on the job. So what Anton is trying to come up with is systems that you will feel good about exploring. You will feel like rewarded for exploring, right? That's.
I think every place, every of these landmarks, every of these settlements or small cities, they have a bunch of or like a huge history, right? And I don't know, maybe there will be even a space how to teach people some of these like most critical history things when they, I don't know, drive to a Devil's Tower. They might learn something about how it was like built by the nature. And
So now you're a little daydreaming because that's not how far we are. But yeah, that like I think the concept that we are working on is probably a long-term commitment. Eventually, we will reveal something. We will launch with something. If it's well accepted, we'll be super happy to continue evolving and improving
to expand it. Maybe.
If we kind of get a backlash like, you guys should have focused on trucks, and now what are you doing here? We may be taking a different path, but hopefully this is going to be catching on, and hopefully we are not going to be scolded for trying to broaden the appeal with other vehicles.
But our community should not be afraid, right? Because this doesn't mean that we are leaving the trucks behind or betraying the trucks.
It's an extra on top of the dedication we have for the semi-truckers. So I really think that it's a cool way to spend. It's an alternate look at what was already available to people, and they may have not like the room to appreciate it or the time and space. And again, I think like coming from a business perspective, it may broaden the appeal to more people who just wouldn't go for a semi-truck game. But now that you have a game about exploring a massive universe or massive world, and you choose other cars to do that, well, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, as like a trucker, I still identify as a trucker, even though I'm in game dev now. It kind of, it's a cool feeling for me that maybe people who maybe aren't so exposed to trucking in general and seen this game and thinking, oh, it's only for like hardcore truck fans, maybe they'll dip their toes into it with cars. And maybe they'll see these trucks and think, oh, I'm going to give it a try. And maybe there's guys that maybe never considered a career related to trucking might therefore consider it, right? Because that's a problem we have in the industry in trucking is, getting young people interested in trucks, right? Like, it's not so cool as it was many years ago.
This is really crucial what you're saying, I think, because we are trying to integrate road trip into the whole game really seamlessly, so that it's just so that it's an add-on, it's an addition, but also at the same time we are looking into ways to make this work independently. So theoretically, there can be a situation when a new player comes and they decide they want to drive the car. So they start driving it, and they won't have to drive the big trucks as well. But they will always have this opportunity to do this because it's still the same world, it's still the same system, it's still going to be really very realistic. But the interesting and cool feature that our game will have is that this very easy process of switching between two different agencies, one of a driver, explorer, enthusiast, and another is of a professional truck driver who with time can manage their own company and use all the management elements of our game.
Cool. Well, let me circle back to the vehicles a little bit, because like you guys mentioned, I don't know if it was Pavel or you, Mark, that we already did some talks with the brands and that we are thinking maybe about the vehicles, about like a future packages, brand related, whatever, something like that. Can you maybe tell us if there is a vision to have some pattern in those packages? Like if it's gonna be always a few same type of vehicles, or a package gonna contain a different type of vehicles and something like that?
So we're working.
And for you guys, I have few close-up shots from some of the vehicles that are already in production in Maya. I will just try to silently walk through them so you can see something else than the logo on the display, while Mark will probably with other guys talk about this question.
So yeah, we didn't want to just release like a pack with just pickup trucks, and of course in discussions with the manufacturers, all that, the packages kind of developed their own pattern as we went through. So we have, of course, a flagship pickup truck model for each manufacturer. And we have several manufacturers. And from there, we wanted to have some variety. So we do have some of these kind of also flagship just cars as well.
And then you mentioned also like you guys were thinking about the dream-ish road trip through Road 66 in some classic or heritage
definitely
model.
That inspired some kind of like classic Americana. So we have some classic vehicles from decades past to show off as well. It's going to be a really wide range of driving experiences with the vehicles we're offering, I think. We have some packs that maybe don't offer the same cars we want for this pattern, so we did our best to
Makes sense.
And I think people might be even kind of surprised by some of the cars that they'll see in these packs. I was even surprised, like I came into the project kind of late because I only started here a year and a half ago, and the project by then was already starting development, and even I was kind of surprised by the cars that we were
offered. Well, the project has evolved, like the thinking about it, the positioning. Initially, I think it was called like, let's do RVs or something. Like that was the idea. It shaped a lot through the time as we were exploring.
Which would probably also find its
eventually it may be a thing
there.
But as we approached the tentative licensing partners, and the idea was, we are not building a new game. We are not competing with massive games like Forza or whatever we are. We are looking at like a small addition, extra spice to add to the universe that we already have, to the established formula we already have. Let's do it step by step. And the discussions with the partners kind of identified a need for each of them to be visible and for each of them to have enough of a range. And then you want to have some kind of equivalent kind of treatment of them. You shouldn't do one partner with 6 vehicles and the other with just one. You're trying to find a formula that works. So when it comes to shaping it as like a business thing, in the end, you talk, is it a free content, is it paid content? It was so much work, it definitely turned out to be the need for it to be a paid content. We said, you know what, why don't we make a series of small DLCs, like a few vehicles each, with a very reasonable pricing policy, so that if you want a bunch of different brands to drive, it's still like very, very competitive compared to buying a big game. This will also like shape the expectations. This is not another like Gran Turismo. This is not
It's
a
not
huge
like a
300 car
standalone
standalone game where you would
Yeah.
expect deep gameplay. This is still an addition to a very successful game that gives you a different perspective and a cool way to experience it. But still, we needed vehicles. We need the behaviors. We needed the physics. So part of it is not just building the models. Part of it is like
It's gonna be a challenge
under the hood
as well, right?
stuff
Like-
for our coders to do a lot of things that maybe people play mods with cars already as it is, but on tracking physics. Like we need so much work to do
Yeah.
to have proper whatever weights and chassis and acceleration and all these like powertrain elements that are different between a car and a semi truck. So as time went on, we think we found the formula. Let's bring a few, possibly more eventually, packs with a brand partner that is easily identifiable. Okay, this is a set from this manufacturer, and people can choose and pick whatever they like. They may just use one. They may have 3 favorite cars between 3 different manufacturers and brands and mix it up. But anytime so long as they pick any, a lot of gameplay should open up to them that is the extra on top of the long haul gameplay that we have now.
Yeah, I think the plan of, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no, like the gameplay, once you buy any one of whichever pack we release, that's going to unlock basically the whole DLC,
the
right?
extra layer of functionality.
So it's gonna be like a
And then it's up to you which
question
cars
of
you like
choice.
and which cars
Yeah.
you don't
Right.
like. You pick and you build your own portfolio of vehicles from what's offered.
Cool.
So you don't have to commit to a major like purchase. It's not a new big game. It's a set of small snacks for you to pick, to choose whatever you like to drive or not.
Cool.
Okay.
I can say that from those pictures I'm browsing through, I already seen a mirror of my favorite car, so I'm sold basically. Maybe the community will also recognize these like close-up shots, and they will write down a list of vehicles we already working on in the comments below the video. But as you guys talked about also that this project comes up with, or probably will bring some difficulties we will have to face, like you mentioned, the different behavior of the vehicles, like stuff like that. Maybe also like a different approach from the vehicle department in the way of how these vehicles gonna be modeled or textured or whatever, and in the way of maybe some, for example, in-game menu elements or something like that. Can you guys talk collectively, whoever wants, about like some of these difficulties that are already appearing that we have to face?
I think Pavel highlighted some of them when he spoke about the evolution of our thinking about the project. Because the interesting paradox is that we want to integrate road trip seamlessly because it's taking just a small part in the truck universe. But in order to make it this small part, we need actually to make a lot of work. Because like the smaller the feature is, or the more it's unique, the more work we need to put into to make sure that everything is connected smoothly and logically.
So it will not feel like a game in a game that you need to start through some like initial menu or something like that. You guys want to make it feel that it was the part of the game for a long time already. Kind of approach like that, I guess.
Well, yes. At the same time, as I mentioned, we'd like Road Trip to be played as like separately, like for new players especially. But let me give you a more concrete example. There are some screens, for example, with our management screens, where once you click on a feature, once you click on a function, there's no space where you could add new elements in the menu below, where you choose between different management.
We are
schemes.
that full already.
Well, we've been developing for quite a long time, and so we have a lot of features. And the more features we have, the more complex the system is. And once you have such complex systems, you need to. It's really a challenging task to integrate new elements into the whole picture.
Well, but basically the thinking is really it's integrated such that you finish a job in a semi-truck and you say, you know what, now I would have fun hopping into my favorite car or pickup and
Go
drive
see
into
the
the sunset to see
National Forest, whatever.
the landmark or something. So it's not like two games within one package. It's not like you go to the main menu of the game or the title menu of the game and switch between the two modes. It's like you are there, a part of the universe. You are living it, and now you decide to hop on a quick job or drive a big oversized cargo or take your car and have some fun driving, or even have a part of the thinking is also there should be a reason for you to be there. Have a job as a driver of a car that maybe earns you some money or XPs, or it's not just only joy. It's also the thinking is okay. There should be more of a depth for you to drive these cars, at least from time to time, depending on how you feel about it. But it should be a way for you to earn some money so that you can grow in the like finance sense. If you are only sticking to cars, so there needs to be some system that we feel that takes this into account. But really, it's just like alternate set of like reasons or jobs or opportunities for you to switch the different steering wheels and have fun with the game. That's all the time. Is it like the priorities, how deep we should go, how much things should be not like in collision with each other. Because if you go deeply into any gameplay element, it's maybe at the risk of like breaking something else that shouldn't happen. So it's still evolving. We are still working on it. But all these cars, though, the details that you have been showing already have been licensed with the partners. This is not like this has been a serious like commitment for us to make something happen. We have started with talking with some of these partners really 2 years ago and started signing the licenses some time ago. So there is a lot of things happening behind the scenes here at SCS that we were not ready to share until now, and still we are only teasing mostly. But this is a serious thing that we hope to make an impact on the appeal of the game.
Mark, can you maybe, from the perspective of vehicle department, say like how you guys are working on these vehicles, and maybe if you know how many of them is in production, and if there is any legendary vehicle?
Should I name it?
No.
Not yet.
We actually have some vehicles that are almost done. So we're quite far along in production for some vehicles. We have other ones just starting production. I think the biggest challenge for us was, I think, data acquisition. In some cases, we got lots of information from the manufacturers. In other cases, we got nothing. But in all cases, we still need real-life reference photos. And some of these vehicles were never offered for sale in Europe.
Or they are like long time gone from like standard production, right?
Exactly. Like there's some vehicles, somebody asked me if I could try and find one of these vehicles last winter in Canada while I was home on vacation to go get some reference photos of it. I'm like, in Canada? Nobody's going to have this on the road. It's buried in heated storage somewhere, right? So trying to find all these vehicles and get the information we need, that has probably been the biggest challenge for sure. Even sound recording, it's a whole new way of sound recording for us. As opposed to trucks.
That's true, yeah.
We had, problems with microphone placement. On trucks, we normally don't place the microphone right at the exhaust pipe simply because of the logistics of getting a microphone 13 feet in the air, right? So all of a sudden we're placing them on the back bumper and we're finding that, how do you take the sound from this giant American engine and not have it blow up the microphone, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of challenges in that, but I think the team is very enthusiastic about working on these vehicles. It's for some of them that have been making trucks for the last 15 years. I think it's a bit of a welcome change. But
so you see some excitement.
Some of the guys.
Good apartment.
Yeah. Some of the guys are really ecstatic. Everyone is really ecstatic with this project, I think.
Awesome. You mentioned the data acquisition, and you're like nicely helping me with my next question, like because we were talking and thinking that maybe with the help of the community, with you guys and girls, and we could get some of the missing data, right? Because we never know, like we have so many members of the community out there, and some of them, they might have some of the vehicles we might be looking for undercover in the heated garage, it might be their precious one. And
we even got lucky last year, and we had someone with a particularly high value rare vehicle who was able to offer it for us to do some photo references and stuff like that.
I remember that. We planned to have a SCS on the road episode with that guy.
So we've been working in secrecy with a few people in the community already.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard actually trying to, reach out to people about, hey, like I'm looking for this particular vehicle for a project, and then they're kind of like sketched out, why is this guy from Czech Republic contacting me about my vehicle to like borrow it for a day? And I can't really say what game it's for and what we're doing and all that. So like even with the guy that we already met in Texas, there was a lot of trust there. And I told him basically like, we're legit and, everything, right? And when we met him, we told him a little more, and that really, I think, gave him some peace of mind, right? But yeah, so like going forward, there's definitely some vehicles that are more rare that we either can't get from the manufacturer or we can't rent in some way or something like that. So if we could somehow, maybe someone in the community knows somebody, maybe they got an uncle that has one of these cars tucked away in his shed that he takes out 3 times a year. If we could get a hold of these vehicles to take some photos and record some sounds, that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like actually you being in SCS happened kind of the same way, right? Because like I don't know how many years back we were looking for trucks to be let to record sounds on, and we reached out to community, and your friend reached back to us.
Yep.
He organized with you some of the trucks. We came there and we met you for the first time, and voila, here we are, right?
Actually, I just showed up just because I wanted to meet you guys, because you guys were supposed to record a truck I owned at that time. When you guys were in contact with my friend there, I had this truck, and everything was good, but then I kind of decided that I wanted to dial back my operations in trucking, because at this point I think I had 3 trucks kind of. So I actually sold that particular truck. So when you guys were coming, all those trucks you saw were actually ones he set up. But I was like, man, I've been playing this game for a long time. I remember playing like 18 Wheels of Steel across America. Like, I want to come meet these guys, right? But yeah, that was something that he was able to provide for you guys, and we did a blog with him as well, and an interview and stuff.
An interview as well.
Yeah.
So it's a nice proof that it can work.
Yeah.
It can help. So I believe together we will compose maybe later also on like a article and communication communication through our channels, in which we will try to reach to the community. Maybe you guys together will put down a list of vehicles you're looking for. We can like ask the community for help, and if any one of you, our dear fans, have or know someone who might have those vehicles and would be willing to let us come and take a reference photos or record the sounds with them, that would be awesome. That would be awesome help, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would broaden our chances to really have interesting vehicles, like especially from the history point of view.
Yeah.
If something from the 70s is desirable for us, we have a hard time. Even if you talk to the manufacturer now, they may not have access to those like models or makes anymore easily. So we may rely on like the wider community or the enthusiasts who still cherish those.
We recently had quite a funny story I think we can tell. There was going to be a SCS on the road episode from that trip as well later. And the contact at the OEM actually had one of those, let's say, kind of legendary issue or more like classic vehicles for us ready. And they were like, yeah, you guys can come and record the sounds and take the reference photo. But when we came, they realized that the car was sitting outside for so long that it didn't start. So even these things can happen. And I think the community could help us a lot in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a huge help. I think we'd be super grateful. Yeah, definitely try to give back to them in some way.
Awesome. Well, I think we are slowly getting towards the end of this vidcast or developer talk about the road trip, the project. I think it's also good to mention how somehow to once again repeat and remind or manage the expectations that as of now the project is still work in progress.
Anton is also trying to. We have a lot of enthusiasm for this. But we just don't want to scare people by teasing it here, by announcing it here, that we are not switching focus. This is addition, not stealing away from our passion and effort to work on trucks. This is a new angle to view the game. Also, we have players of American Truck Simulator and players of ETS2 will now be scratching their head. How about us?
And there's something for them as well in development, I can say.
But I imagine that if this catches on, we would absolutely be highly motivated to really follow up and reflect car driving in Europe as well. But we had to choose, we had to pick, and we felt, the world of American Truck Simulator and the truck thing was actually the catalyst for it. The truck versus semi-truck thing was the bridge that made us make this decision or this commitment. So American Truck it is for the way for our players to experience cars, hopefully in the future. But we'll see where it takes us. It's really exploring new territory. It's really probing. A lot of the work that goes into the physics recently is improving the truck part as well. We're getting better precision, better fidelity. So there's a lot of work under the hood that will serve anybody playing the game, driving any vehicle. So I see most of the benefits. I don't see much risk. The only risk is that if we are perceived as like not caring, not being passionate about the core gameplay of the game, and I hope we will be able to dispel it. I hope we'll be able to explain that this is more fun in the same package, more fun in the same game, more ways to see the fantastic world that our designers are building, and people hopefully mostly appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's also good to say that the team working on this project is a, let's say, special composed team, kind of. Like, it's not going to really affect the core of Euro Truck Simulator 2 or American Truck Simulator. We recently approached, or maybe even crossed the 400 people in SES software, right? So we are growing. So we are have some
right at the edge of 400 employees total. Yeah. And the vehicle team also crossed some magical, 40 plus person. So the bandwidth is there, the capacity is there. We tried to get as many CAT references and photo references, photogrammetry references for vehicles of all kinds. And this was like sitting there as an opportunity to just take advantage of. So that's what we are trying now.
Cool.
Yeah, you mentioned it being the road trip. Like we've started doing these agile projects, and Driving Academy, I guess, was probably the first major agile project where we're taking people from different teams, putting them together. So capacity isn't being stolen from other projects, right?
Yeah. And that's where Anton is actually now involved. We just spent the previous hour before this recording talking with the guys in the project room, and there are programmers, there are artists, there are designers, breathing and the same air and sparking the ideas. So that's how we are approaching these more agile efforts, team efforts. To break through the barrier of kind of a big company is a lot of bureaucracy, even you need to speed up some things by being on the same page quickly and automatically. So this is another of these projects where we are focused more on making progress rather than a production level kind of massive effort like big major map DLC is, or even a big truck is now multiple people working in parallel on one thing. Here the cars are kind of smaller objects to build than a truck with all the complexity of a truck as being literally a lot of building blocks that make really one truck. For us, it's different chassis and cabins and all that. Here, for the cars, it's not so complex, so they are, in a way, we are more productive making them. So a lot of things that are happening, and I'm so careful about managing the expectations, but really, I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah,
that's my message.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to introducing really the brands and maybe collecting wish lists. We'll see what the feedback is. So let's see. But we are here. We are ready to start talking about it. We're still ready to ramp up, bring the reflector on it and then put it into focus.
Cool. Talking about the feedback and stuff like that, and gathering reactions and maybe ideas from the community. Do you guys have any specific message to the potential future road trip players that you would like to tell them or ask them for their feedback?
Take care and explore.
Yeah, it'll be really interested. I'd say after now we're teasing, I guess we'll get an avalanche of feedback and questions. We are really interested in all these follow-up questions or inspirations or ideas, because people will be like really speculating about whatever this can turn into. It may also shape our own expectations or our own hopes or our own kind of ways of implementing things. So we are eager for feedback, really. And as we reveal more, of course, there'll be even more specific feedback to what we really plan and what we do. So far, we teased a few like metal kind of bent shapes. I don't know what these were mostly, but you guys know, you car enthusiasts would know.
And we really do pay attention to this feedback. The colleague of mine I've mentioned earlier, who studied every social media of ours, he is really very meticulous and consistent person. We pay attention to constructive suggestions. And one of the things that I was really surprised with pleasantly was that when I read the comments after our first teaser, some of the things people said in those comments already affected the way I think about my work.
Nice.
And I didn't expect this to happen because I've never worked with feedback like this before, as this is my like first major game design assignment. But I really liked how the voices that I heard became part of the overall process.
Yeah, that's a great thing about our, as you put it, best community ever.
Yeah.
The dialogue with the community is really, over the years, some people may think that we are still too slow and not listening, but we do listen, we try our best. And it's a great way, it's a two-way communication in many ways, that we pay attention, that we listen, and that you guys go, and it's not just reading the comments under our own blog posts, it's also looking at the YouTubers that actually
Discords, Reddit threads,
reprocess the communication from us and speculate more, and there's more discussion under those, more threads of discussion. So collecting all the ideas and all that, it's something that people do out of passion here because they are really truly interested. So we're really looking forward to the feedback.
Yeah, I think this feedback kind of can even help steer the future of the game, right? Like when we, release that teaser, there's a lot of speculation about what kind of vehicle it is, and that gives us a good idea of what kind of vehicle people want, because people were, hearing what they wanted to hear, right? So I think, the more feedback we get, the better. The more we can learn about what the people want, the better, right?
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you all guys for doing this vidcast. It was kind of a new thing for us as well, related to this new project. So 2 news at the same time, but I think it was fun. We are almost 1 hour in rolling, so I think it's time to wrap things up. So definitely you guys in the community keep your eyes on our communication channels, because we are just starting with the communication about this project in general. There's going to be more topics, more information, more reveals, more teasers maybe even. And then also I think you guys with the sound crew are planning the trip for where you would like to gather some of these vehicles, something in the summer, right? So we will hopefully soon together put an article with a list of vehicles you guys are looking for. Maybe the community can reach us and help us get some of them.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So be on the lookout for that one as well. And I think that's all from us for today.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. See you later.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Bye-bye.
Thanks.